So, like I said before, or if I haven't, I have experienced S assault on multiple occasions, unfortunately. And I'm not only sharing this just for women, this is for men and women, and this is for the victims as well as for the abusers. There's healing for everyone. So I got to a point where I could no longer avoid the trauma of the S assault, and I had to deal with it. And so an event happened, which I will share from my notes that I took or from my journal, what triggered that event and when I finally came to the point where I had to deal with this. So I'm reading from my journal or from my note that I wrote, and this is dated or was dated July 26, 2022, Tuesday. A few days ago, while I was at home, I was thinking about Pastor. I don't recall what triggered the memory, but something did. I started to replay in my mind the times Pastor S assaulted me. It happened on 2 occasions. The first time it happened when I was at his house alone with him, as I had been on so many other occasions. I recall we were in his kitchen. I think we were getting ready to leave. It was like any other day where we were laughing and enjoying each other's company. Suddenly, he squeezed one of my tatas. In that moment, it seemed as though time had froze. It was as though I had experienced fight, flight, or freeze. I didn't know how to respond. Should I respond? I don't know what to do, or I didn't know what to do. I was afraid, in shock, numb, horrified, and ashamed as though I had deserved it or it didn't matter. I asked myself, why didn't you flinch, slap him, scream, get angry, something? I justified his behavior by telling myself that because I had been sexually active, I had become desensitized to any unwanted sexual contact. He was someone who I could confide in. I shared my deepest and dark secrets with him. I had high regards for him. He was my pastor, my counselor, friend, and advisor. I trusted him. I think I thought he would have probably used some of the things I had shared with him against me. I think the fact that I had such high regard and respect for him that I didn't even take it seriously as I should have. I honestly felt the need to protect him more than myself. I didn't know what that is. I don't know what that is. What it means or why I thought I believed it. When he squeezed he went into his wallet and handed me $20. I took it. Why? I thought that I should. I didn't know what the expectations were. I didn't know what to think. I was afraid. I justified his behavior by telling myself that I've been desensitized by my own sexual experiences. I don't recall if he had ever apologized for what he had done. I do believe that him giving me the $20 was an unspoken way of telling me to be silent. It seemed as though it was a transaction for something that I did not agree to. I felt like an object and not a person, something not of value, worthless, devalued. I think he knew I wouldn't have said anything. Maybe that was the reason I was such an easy prey. I think another reason why I didn't say anything, wasn't angry, etc., was the fact that he had done so much for me over the years. How could I betray him? The second time that he had squeezed one of my tatas was when we were driving in his car. Once again, It was like any other day. We were enjoying each other's company. Suddenly, he reached over and squeezed my tata like nothing. I immediately became quiet. My response was the exact way as it was previously, sheer horror. I recalled he smiled when he touched me. Several years later, after his death, I think, and this is someone else that it happened to, and I started to talk about him. She shared with me that he had done the same thing to her. I was in shock. Why? Because was a married woman whom he had touched inappropriately as well. She thought that she had told me previously. I told her that I had observed her interaction with him. I had observed that she became very dismissive, passive-aggressive, aggressive, and hostile towards him. I never asked him or her, but I just observed the sudden change in behavior. I told that he had done the same thing to me. I realized then that he had probably done it before to other women, because for him to do that to, of all people, he had no regards or remorse for what he had done. Blank was not like me, who wouldn't fight back or say something. She was much more assertive, a no-nonsense type of person. It suddenly all made sense. The time she was aggressive towards him was when he had assaulted her. Needless to say, their relationship was never the same. Over the years, when I thought about both incidents, I would ask myself, why aren't you angry, sad? Why do you avoid being angry? Should I have a reason to be angry? Why wasn't I assertive? The one thing that comes up for me is that I was afraid to fight back. I was merely afraid. I think it would have been too painful for me to face whatever. It was safer for me to dismiss, I guess. I think I tried to avoid feeling the pain all these years, not wanting to face the fact and admit that he had assaulted me until today. Why did I avoid my feelings? Why? So this is just me, processing my feelings at that time and just writing it out. Let's continue. When I heard about the Bill Cosby scandal, I thought about what had happened to me. I felt a disconnect, detached. There were times when I didn't want to think about it and how it would make me feel. I didn't want to see him as in that light. Yet, he was. I thought about the time when one of my relatives and I were driving back from a particular state. We got on the topic of Bill Cosby and his victims. The relative couldn't comprehend why the victims took so long to say something. It happened so long ago. What's the point? The relative lacked sympathy, empathy, and understanding for the victims. I got angry because of several reasons, such as, who gives you the right to judge these women? You are just as imperfect as the rest of us. Not because you don't understand or you may not have experienced the same thing, that doesn't give you the right to judge. That's not okay. Do you know the whole story, the backstory? You don't know what these women have gone through over the years to build the confidence, courage, and strength to finally face their accusers. You do not know. How dare you? If you don't understand or know, keep your mouth shut. Because whenever you open it and say things such as this, you're causing more hurt.